This is Remote Daily, your daily dose of inspiration. This is Remote Daily, an oasis of innovation. Innovation for your mind, your soul, and your heart. Connect, act, and recharge with Remote Daily. This is Remote Daily.
Big round of applause for Eleanor and Dario. The kazoo is a hit. It is the highlight of our summer here on Remote Daily. Thank you so much for the tunes. And thank you, Callie, sending gratitude to Canada for that beautiful land acknowledgement. Hi, everybody. So for those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Britt Pham. My pronouns are she, her, and I will be your host for today's conversation. So for our regulars, you know that typically I lead us through a grounding breath. However, our guest today has kindly agreed to offer her own practice to give us a sample of what her work is like and to get us grounded in the conversation. So with that said, I want to introduce my dear friend and health and nutrition coach, Betta DeWitt Entwistle. Hello, Betta.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Britt.
Hi, I'm so excited to have you here. Before we dive into anything, I'm going to pass the mic to you to lead us in a grounding.
Wonderful. And thank you all for inviting me to this space. I invite you to plant your feet firmly on the earth beneath you. Really spread your toes out wide, even if you have shoes on. I invite you to close your eyes if that's safe and comfortable in your space. If it's not, I invite you to have a soft gaze. Really root down into your seat. Bring your palms to your thighs. And then slowly inhale and open up your arms out wide. Spread your fingers wide, making your palm as big as it can be. Lift up your chest a little bit further up towards the sky. Acknowledge the space that you're taking up in this moment. Surrender to whatever is coming up in your physical body. Lifting up your chest a little bit higher to the sky. Take a deep inhale, rising your hands above your head, reaching up tall, growing 1 inch taller. Lengthening your spine with every inhale. Exhale, bring your hands back down, either to heart center. I offer to bring one palm to your heart, one palm to your belly. Or you can leave your palms open by your side. Notice your breath. Take a deep inhale through your nose, fill all the way up. Exhale through your mouth. This time be vocal with your breath as you exhale. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale with a vocal breath. Sit still, acknowledge what's coming up for you. I invite the intention of love. Feeling your heartbeat, or even just the sensations that are coming up through your breath. How can you honor where you are today through the love that you provide yourself as well as the people around you? Take a deep inhale one more time. Reach your hands up above your head. Reach up tall. Grow 1 inch taller. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Keep your eyes closed for one last breath. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Release your shoulders. Maybe do some slight neck movements. Bending your head towards the left, opening up space through your neck. And then bringing your head towards the other side. Physically feeling the weight lifted off of your shoulders, going into the earth. Inhale, bring your head back to center, lifting up your shoulders. Inhale. And then exhale, dropping your shoulders down your back. And when you're ready, come back to your body, to your breath, and open your eyes.
Thank you, Betta, and thank you, Dario, as always, for the beautiful tunes. Whew. It's nice to get to participate in the grounding breath myself. Thank you so much, Betta. Before we go into anything today, first question, how are you? How is your soul? How is your inner Betta today?
I am doing well. I feel heavy but grounded, and I'm just so grateful to be here in the space with all of these wonderful people.
Amazing. And I want to acknowledge, Betta, that you agreed to jump in last night. So thank you so much for stepping up and coming to join us in a conversation. So let's get right into it. For those who may be wondering, what exactly is a health and nutrition coach? At least, what does your practice look like?
Absolutely. So a health and nutrition coach is, and as I work within my business, is I work one-on-one with clients. And as you can imagine, a coach is typically a mentor, someone that is supportive. So what I do is I work with one-on-one clients to understand what their health goals are. And not just from a high level, because we can often share with each other, well, I want to run a marathon, or I want to give up sugar. And you can have people who support that decision in your life. But as a health coach, I actually work with my clients to understand the root of why that is their goal and why that is something that they want to, achieve and get towards in their life. And that often uncovers the root symptoms and the root meaning and deeper of really why they want to better their life and become a healthier version of themselves. So I work as an accountability coach, as well as someone that can provide resources and tools from a nutrition aspect, but not only looking at what you're putting on your plate from a food perspective, but I really believe in looking at all areas of your life. So just as a quick example, if you do want to give up coffee, like someone had mentioned in the chat, which is incredible because that is so hard to do, I will not only look at, okay, how do we make sure that you can remove coffee from your diet, but really, why do you want to remove coffee from your diet? Is it because you want to show up differently in your life, and how that will impact other areas of your life, such as movement, your family, your relationships, and your community? And so that's what really it comes down to for me and what I do with my clients.
Yeah. So it sounds like a large part of your work is around accountability and really looking at the root of why you want to make these shifts. So I'm curious, why do you find accountability such a key part of health and nutrition? And perhaps if you can go into like how you draw the line between accountability and our societal conditioning around health and nutrition and the expectations that we have around the way we eat and take care of ourselves and look, it's such a thing these days. So can you go into that a little bit more?
You're so right that health and wellness is a trend right now. And I think that often can be very overwhelming for people, in a sense that once they hear the term health and wellness, they often think, oh my gosh, I have to change my life so drastically in order to feel the best version of myself. But what it really comes down to is some simple changes in your specific lifestyle that will encourage you to inch by inch get to a better place where you want to be, and then be able to, again, show up for yourself. So when we look at accountability and what I provide for my clients, it's not only being there as a supportive person in their life and someone that they can actually open up about specific areas that they might not be able to talk about with other people that are really close to them in their life. So holding the space for them, but also really encouraging and making sure that they're recognizing why the root of what they want to change is coming from a place that they actually want and not an external pressure, an external reason of because they opened up a book and it said you have to have a paleo diet in order to live a fulfilling life. Because trendy words are flying all over the place. And so I think it's really important to actually tune in to why and what you want to do to make better decisions about the food that you're eating and nourishing your soul and your mind and your body.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious, could you maybe share a little bit of your own personal experience with this, like step-by-step, one thing at a time, like perhaps what was maybe a health goal that you had before you started this work, and then how did that transform over time, and like what does your health look like today? What does your routine look like today in that realm?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you the picture from not only from the food that I eat, because like I said, I look at it from all areas of your life. Food is just at the center of that. So something that I really encountered and experienced myself was actual burnout from a corporate sales job. And I was coming up with these anxiety kind of symptoms where my chest felt heavy, I wasn't sleeping well, I was looking for the right answer to make myself feel better. So what I really had to do is sit with myself and have that pause in the day that I could actually tune into, what do I need to actually fulfill my mind and my body right now? And that was meditation for me. So I know that that also is such a trendy word and thing and something to do and incorporate in your routine, but I think it's a muscle that a lot of people haven't been able to practice because it is a little bit foreign. And so for me, incorporating meditation into my daily routine and doing it first thing in the morning really allowed me to ground myself in my physical body. And then that allowed me to make smarter choices and better choices for the food that I was also eating. Because going back to being burnt out, often you're just running from one thing to the next and you don't actually pause and acknowledge the relationship with the food that you're eating. And so by making that space in your routine, whether it's first thing in the morning, sitting with stillness and acknowledging how you really feel. Is it you feel energized and ready for the day? Do you feel anxious and scared? And then being able to use food as a tool to fuel your body instead of a craving mechanism or a way to just fill yourself up because you don't feel your best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a couple things I'm hearing in that is that sometimes it's not so much about like what you're eating or how you feel, but it's about how you're relating to how you're feeling and how you're relating to what you're feeling. And another thing, someone just commented, Yvonne commented in the chat, daily meditation has been a game changer. Like another thing I'm hearing is that it's not always just about the physical, it's how the physical and the mental tie together, which I think segues into one of my next questions, which is around how health and nutrition have changed in the pandemic. Because we've seen a lot of shifts and a lot of conversation around mental health. I'm curious how the conversation around physical health has changed in the pandemic. And as we've navigated not only the health crisis, but the racial justice crisis, the economic crisis, how have you noticed shifts in your work?
Absolutely. I think the pandemic has opened a door for not only my practice, but for people to really acknowledge that at the end of the day, they have their body. That is what's going to be with them till whenever, to the end of their time. And so in order to be physically present and nourish yourself, you have to acknowledge that what you have is your body. Your external environment is a constant change. And the pandemic really, and all of the movements and social justice have really allowed us to recognize in ourselves that, yes, I might be in a different place than I thought I was going to be. I'm not going into a physical office. I'm having conversations with people that I didn't think I would be having conversations with. But at the end of the day, I have my body and I have my health. And so tuning into that and making sure that you're prioritizing it is absolutely a kind of an experience that people haven't really taken the time to acknowledge up until this point. And so for my practice, it's really allowed conversations to come up that never did in the past. For example, my sister used to drive an hour and a half to her job every day, work a full day, and then have a commute that was an hour and a half on the way back. Now she's working at home all day long. So her external environment and shifts have been so transformative that now she's actually like, I can take control of what I eat, because that is something that is consistent in my life. And that's where I want to prioritize my time, knowing that I don't have a commute anymore. So even little things like that, where didn't really come to light until people were forced to be in this environment and acknowledge that their body is what they have.
Yeah, to quote my own father, if you have your health, you have, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And that's something that I grew up really learning. And I think also in this time of like isolation, we really have to learn how to be with ourselves in every single way. And food is a great coping mechanism for when you really want to avoid that. So I think, you know, sometimes I think I've also read some articles around how like, and some folks said in the chat earlier how like they've gained the core in 10, and I'm really curious how you would recommend managing health, especially nutrition, when it can feel like such a task, like especially these days when it's like, oh, all I want to do is lay in bed and eat a bag of chips, which I did last night. That's okay sometimes, I want to acknowledge. But you know, for folks who may be like, okay, I get it, this all sounds great and good, but like I don't really know even where to start. How would you recommend maybe like accountability tools that we can turn to? Are there apps? Are there anything like that that you would recommend, just a starting point?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I think it's recognizing that whether you're commuting or moving or going out of your house, we were so used to having routines and being places and having to be on time and making sure that we met a certain schedule. And then, you know, when the pandemic happened and we couldn't leave our homes, our routines were completely shifted. And so I think a lot of my clients didn't know what to do with that time. They were like, okay, now I can sleep in more because I don't have a commuting hour. Rather, I really invite you to reshift your mindset around creating routines for yourself in the life that you have today. It may look completely different than what you had 6 months ago, and that's okay. But acknowledging where you are today and making space for what you need, whether that's blocking your calendar for going for a walk every single day, or blocking your calendar to making sure that you have lunch every single day, and just creating more of a routine around your habits is really important. Another just tool that I really recommend for meditation and just grounding and journaling to kind of center yourself at any point of the day is called Shine. It's a great app that you can just download, and they offer incredible meditations and exercises that can keep you also accountable if you're not working with a coach.
Amazing. I do want to expand on that a little bit too, because Callie and Felix just shared in the chat around how raising a toddler, you know, Callie says, I've done so much research on establishing healthy habits with food and didn't realize how much of an impact the way we were raised has on our relationship with food. And I'm really curious how maybe you would recommend, particularly folks with kids, establish healthy routines when you're not only responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for other human beings. Not something that I can relate to, but I am curious on what that is like.
Absolutely. I do not have kids, so I can share my experience from having a mother who cooked every meal and really nourished us with food when I was young. And I think what's really important is, as a parent, you are a role model for your kids. And if you don't have a routine for yourself, or if you don't have those boundaries that you're creating for yourself, and you leave out a bag of chips and you're eating them as a snack, that's what your kids are going to see. And that's what they're going to start creating habits around as well. So taking the responsibility as, okay, you don't only want to nourish your body for your own physical energy and how you're showing up, but also to create some habits for your kids and what you're showing them. So one just simple tool is, revisiting what's in your pantry and revisiting what's in your fridge. And, if it's available to you, replacing or changing some of those snack items that you never used to see because you didn't work from home and you would have them in a particular time of day, with healthier, nutritious foods. So, instead of going for that bag of chips, having the bag of carrots available, baby carrots, like they're already, in proportion to be able to eat easily. And so one of my takeaways is really think about whole, nourishing foods rather than processed foods. And I think if you can just embody that as a foundation as yourself, that is something that your kids can naturally start to see as an example as well.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing in that is just having the availability, the options of whole and nutritious foods. Another thing that I do want to acknowledge is Dr. Sabine's comment in the chat around, don't be so harsh on yourselves, you won't wreck them for life. And I think that, as we're living through multiple crises and collective grief and collective trauma, it's also about balancing with being gentle with yourself. Like, if you need that bag of chips, go for that bag of chips. Are you punishing yourself because you don't think you should have it? Or are you punishing yourself because you're really committed to eating healthy? Going back though, don't punish yourself. Just be mindful of why is what I'm hearing in the conversation. What is your reasoning behind feeling this way? Betta, second to last question is, what would you say is one thing that we could all change about our nutrition today, no matter what's in our kitchens? Is there a certain thing that you've seen pop up recently that is concerning, or is there just a general tip that you would recommend for us to be mindful of, no matter what's in our?
Absolutely. I think the number one tip that is general enough that you can apply to your everyday is, when you're thinking about meals and eating, think about the colors. If your plate is filled with a bland color, if it's all white, meaning it's probably white bread and cheese and crackers, then you're probably not diversifying your plate enough that you're nourishing the vitamins and the minerals and the things that really need to be nourished in your body. And so if you can just add one piece of color to your plate, that will make enough of a difference that you can create more sustainability around that. So whether it's adding a vegetable or a fruit or something that excites you and is a little bit more of a different flavor, that's how you're going to gradually get the nutrition benefits that you need on a more sustainable practice.
Okay, add color, everyone.
Add color.
Final question, Betta, is what is one thing that you want us to take away from this conversation? The nail on the head, whatever the term is, the one thing that you would say you want us to take away.
You only have your body. Your body is not anyone else's body. And so when you're thinking about how to nourish yourself, try to strip away the comparisons, the noise, and what's out there, and really tune in and listen to what you need, whether that's rest, food, or movement. And that will be able to make space for what you really need in order to take a step forward into your health and happiness.